Hello and welcome to my first Xbox 360 disc review. Very quickly before I start, there's probably people thinking, what the hell, when do you get an Xbox? I mean, I've seen a couple live things around. Well, basically had one at the launch, loved the hell out of it, then 5 of them died, then 5 of my mates died, then my brothers died twice, then literally I could go on, but between a small circle of friends, I'm counting about 40 dead Xboxes. Quite frankly, I hate the things at the same time as loving them to death, because they've got some amazing games on them, but the hardware is the worst hardware I've ever experienced in my life. So, yeah, basically what I'm saying is, don't expect these reviews often, because I can't guarantee that the Xbox is going to live long enough to actually bring some out. But while it's working today, for now, I'm going to do a couple. So, anyway, today I'm going to be taking a look at Dead Rising, one of my all-time favourite games. I absolutely love it. I've played the hell out of it for years. It's one of the few current-gen games that, well, that I've actually beat again and again and again and again, but I've still never been able to do the survival mode, and I'll mention why in a minute. It's not a difficulty thing, it's a time thing. So, at the start you've got very basic options, there's not much point in looking at them. I mean, you can change the invert, which is pretty good, because I like inverted aim. You can check your ranking out, or you can start the game. At the start, you literally have 72-hour mode and nothing else. Then, if you get the good ending, you can get overtime mode, and then you can also unlock the infinite mode, the survival mode type thing. The whole point of the game, though, if you've never played it before, is zombies have infested a mall in Colorado. Well, and that's pretty much it. You're there to get the story and kill some zombies and that. But even though it can be classed as a bit of a mindless hack and slash, in all honesty, there's a lot more depth to it, especially in the story, which you really wouldn't think there is any depth in the story, but for a game like this, it does surprisingly well, and it's the type of thing that I enjoyed going through it multiple times, and I enjoyed watching the story and how it played out and that. And you've also got these sections here, which I'm currently on the camera, which is, again, something else that you wouldn't expect from what's supposed to be a mindless hack and slash, because you're a reporter, as I say. You have to take pictures. It gives you some amazing PP, which is what the game classes as experience points, because you can level your character up. The maximum's 50, which is what I am actually at, and I'll explain how things go after I skip past this, because, in all honesty, while the camera's a good thing, it's pretty boring just showing off some camera footage. So, anyway, as I was explaining about the levelling up system, I'll first up mention why I'm wearing a Mega Man suit, I suppose, because the game's got a load of cool unlockables that you can do. It's got tons of replayability because of the unlockables, and it's just an amazing game, at least I think so. So, the levelling up system, basically by killing zombies, rescuing people, which I'm doing here, and completing the story missions and that, of which the story missions are a hell of a lot more than just run and gun. There are some things that you have to do, like disarming bombs and that, and saving people, and it's a pretty cool thing. As well as there being a main story to the game, there's also a side story in that. So it's, just as I say, it's got a lot more depth than you would think it would be, because you'd think it would just be a type of thing where you run around mindlessly killing zombies. And you can do that, but if you want to actually enjoy the game, you're best off playing through the story and doing the missions and that, etc, etc. So, anyway, as I was saying, by doing all this, it gets you PP, which is the experience point, it levels you up, and as you level up, you can basically, well, just get all sorts of different things. You can get extra health, you can get extra speed, running speed, walking speed, you can get extra item slots to be able to carry more things. The maximum is 14 carries and 14 pieces of health. You can get extra throw distance, you can get extra attack power. It's one of those, by the time you get a level 50, you will have completely changed. If you go back on a different file and play it as a level 1 and a level 50, you'll notice immediately all the differences, especially because there's also some cool moves that you can do, like, well, the double lariat there from Street Fighter 2, and there's also a flash kick, if I can remember how to do it, because it's been a long time since I've actually put the game on. I mean, there's like rugby tackles there, or NFL football tackles, whatever you want to call it. So it's just one of those, you can get some daft moves, you can get some good moves, and they'll basically all help out in their own way in different, well, occasions, different uses. As well as killing zombies, there's also a load of psychos to kill, which are basically humans who've gone crazy, or humans that are just plain bad guys, etc. And you just have to kill them, and yeah, it's just pretty simplistic way to sum up the game, I suppose. Run around, kill things, do the story, save people, etc, etc. But as I say, there's far more depth than people give it credit for, because there's just so many things you can do. First up, you can have tons of fun with the ways to kill zombies, because there are well, there's hundreds and hundreds of items in the mall. There's just all sorts. I mean, this Mega Man blaster I've got here does actually work, which I will show off. It's a proper cannon and it's really cool. It pretty much kills the majority of things in one. You can get normal guns though throughout the game, like shotguns, rifles, handguns and that. You can also get chainsaws, you can get all sorts of cool weapons like that, but then you can also just get your standard 2x4s, or coat hangers, or throwing china plates around and that. It's just mad. Quite frankly, the only problems I actually have with the game are the insane loading times, and I have actually installed the game as well, because what with the fact that the 5th Xbox died and I've heard the Elites were better, I've decided to go for an Elite for the 6th Xbox, and what with having a 250 gig hard drive, then I've decided to pretty much install everything that I can do. And the install does make a difference, but the loading's still all over the place, and it's the type of thing that I really hope to get it fixed for the second one, which, oh boy, I cannot wait for the second one. Well, there's no music to really mention, so I can't let you listen to that, because I mean it's only in little bits and bobs here and there for like danger parts and key scenes and stuff. There are vehicles which you might have noticed, and controlling the vehicles is, well, very odd. It's much different than you'd expect it to be, because instead of it being right trigger, left trigger type thing, because they're classed as a weapon, they're actually X and A, so X because it's your attack button, and A is just there for brake. So it's one of those. They control well though, at least some of them do. This is awful to control. It really is like driving a brick. And the only real reason that they're actually in the game is because you have to kill almost 54,000 zombies in order to get this Mega Man blaster that I've got here. And it's basically a case of you have to pick a route in this underground section, drive A to B, and back again, over and over and over and over and over, and I really wish I was exaggerating, but I'm nowhere near, and over, etc, etc. It takes forever. It's one of the most boring things you'll ever do in your life, and it's just the type of thing that it doesn't add anything at all to the game, much like the survival mode, which is the last thing that I've got to mention. The survival mode, you have to survive for 5 days to get an achievement and 7 days to get an achievement, and you can also get a lightsaber, and it's something that I will never get to do, because in order to play through the whole survival mode, which there's no saving at all, you cannot save the game, it takes 14 hours for the 7 days, which means you have to have your console on for a minimum of 14 hours, and that's if you're inhuman, can't actually need to go to the toilet ever or eat or anything. So you're probably looking at a full 24-hour period here, what with meals and toilet breaks and hell, sleeps every now and again because of the exhaustion you'll be feeling. So it's the type of thing that, again, it adds nothing to the game. I don't know why it's in the game. It's mindless, it's boring, and I just really wish it wasn't there, because it's the type of thing that I really hate about games, and it almost feels like lazy developing. It's the same thing that I slagged Moxxi's Underdome off on my Borderlands review, because it's just boring. There's no need for it. I mean, it is slightly different to the main game with the fact that you have to get health items by killing the human psychos and that, because they're all over the place. And they're not just in key scenes anymore, they just literally respawn and they're all over, as I say. But that's pretty much the only difference. Obviously there's, well, I'll say that's pretty much the only difference. There's obviously special things about it with why you can't save, and your health is constantly draining, so you can't just sit and hide in a room, especially because like after you kill all the zombies in a room, even that's not safe, because they'll just all respawn and it will punish you for doing so. And it's just, again, boring and takes away from how great this game actually is. So there we go then. That's been the review. I hope you found it helpful. I don't score the games because that's based purely on opinion, so instead I'll leave you to make your own mind up. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.